What is up, Sopranos fans? Kino here. I'm back with another Soprano log, and today we're looking at the 9th episode of the 3rd season, the Telltale Moozadell. Now this episode opens on Carmellas' birthday. She comes home and Tony has a big ring to give her as a present. Her kids also give her presents, but funny enough, the presents are really more for them than her. Like AJ buys her the Matrix DVD, and he doesn't even bother wrapping it. He just gives it to her in the bag. Meadow puts a little bit more thought into her gift. She gets her tickets to go to a spa in New York, but Meadow is also going, and she paid for it with their credit card. So really, it's a spa day for her as well. So it's funny to see how selfish the kids can be at times. But we go to a birthday party for Carmela. The family's gathered around there. It's funny, Janice has her friend Aaron there from her church group. He's telling Tony that as born-again Christians, they're not allowed to drink. And Janice agrees with him, but when she comes out of the bathroom, she's got some Coke on her nose. And so funny enough, apparently Jesus doesn't want people drinking, but cocaine is perfectly fine. Carmela is concerned that Meadow has begun dating Jacky April, even though he's been acting really respectfully, coming around the house, helping out, talking with AJ. She's still concerned that he's going to distract her from everything she should be doing in New York, learning, becoming more cultural. I think subconsciously, or maybe consciously, Carmela does not want Meadow to end up like her, married to, one of these Italian wise guy types. And she wants Meadow to kind of escape the cycle of the life in New Jersey. There's actually an interesting detail where her and Rosalie go out to have lunch at Vesuvio, and Rosalie is toasting to their kids' relationship. And Carmela raises a glass, but it cuts away, and it doesn't look like she actually drank the alcohol. So I think that that's a sign again that she's really not happy about this relationship right now. Tony goes to talk to Jacky Jr. and tells him that he's happy that he's dating his daughter, but he expects the absolute best from Jacky. He needs to do well in school and especially not get involved in any trouble now that he's dating Tony's daughter. Jacky lies to him and says that he's doing well in school. He mentions he got a paper on his Edgar Allan Poe assignment, but it was actually Meadow that wrote the paper for him. And of course, Edgar Allan Poe is where the title of this episode comes from, The Telltale Heart. But they play around with that title here, and we'll see why coming up in a little bit. But Jacky, disobeys Tony. He gets a gun from Ralphie. He says it's for protection, but we can tell that Jacky is this, wannabe gangster type. So he's looking to get involved in trouble underneath Tony's nose. Later, Tony sees him at their casino gambling, and Tony throws him out and tells him, stay away from these kind of places. Don't get involved in this kind of stuff. Christopher buys Adriana a club. Basically, the owner owed him money. He made some bad sports bets, and now they took over the place. And he gives it to Adriana to run. She's always been interested in music and event management. So now this is her kind of playground. They turn it into the Crazy Horse. It's a bar club with live music. They start booking some bands. The band they book is kind of mellow, I think, for a club scene like that. I don't know, but that's kind of her whole thing. That was with the other band she was into. They were really mellow as well. There's a guy there named Matush. He's a drug dealer, and he's going to be involved in later seasons as well. But we see him here dealing ecstasy in the bathroom. They kick him out because they don't want drugs in the place. They don't want to attract the cops' attention. Now he goes to Jacky Jr. for help. Jacky Jr. arranges this kind of little kid sit down where he agrees to work it out with Christopher for this guy. And there's an interesting detail where he's posed in a way that looks like Vito Corleone in The Godfather. Now, this could just be, a reference that the creators put to Godfather in there. But I like to think that Jacky intentionally sat that way to make himself look like Vito Corleone. Because, again, he wants to come off like a gangster. So I like to interpret that as, again, him being a wannabe and appearing a way that he's not actually. But he goes to Christopher to try and work it out for this guy. Christopher says no. Again, he doesn't want the drugs in his place, and he doesn't respect Jacky at all, so a favor is not something he's going to do for him. Jacky Jr. tells Matush that everything is good anyway, He just has to deal his drugs outside of the club. And he does that, but then they still end up kicking his ass. So Jacky just got this guy in trouble by bluffing and pretending to be something he's not. Meanwhile, AJ breaks into his school's pool with some friends. They're just goofing around. Interesting detail is that Lady Gaga is one of the girls in that group. This was way before she was famous as a singer, but that's cool that she got her start here. Like a lot of other celebrities. I mentioned before that Michael B. Jordan was a little kid on this show in the first season. But they trash the pool. They throw things into it. They smash up the award locker. They just wreck the place. Just screwing around, just having fun. But they leave behind a pizza, and the cops are able to track this pizza to the pizza place owner, and they are able to coerce him into giving AJ's name. They say that he's going to be an accessory after the fact, which is pretty ridiculous, but this guy believes it. The scene at the pizza place is a little odd. The tone is kind of weird. I read on Wikipedia that it's a spoof of this TV series Dragnet. I never watched it, but an interesting detail is that the theme song for Dragnet is based on the song from The Killers, the film noir movie. I actually did a review of that movie. If you want to check it out, I'll link that in the description. But just it's funny what you read on Wikipedia as you click on all those links. AJ, though, his parents tell him that he's going to be punished and maybe even expelled and kicked off the football team. But when they go to the school, they don't want to punish him at all. Basically, football is more important to them than actually punishing AJ, which kind of pisses off Carmella. She wants to see him punished so that he'll learn his lesson. So instead of being punished at school, they end up grounding him for like a month, which again seems like kind of a light punishment for what he did. And this is the habit the Sopranos are in, where they're always letting their kids off the hook for the bad stuff that they get up to. In the last little storyline here, Tony and Gloria are continuing their relationship. They go to the zoo, and we get some hints about Gloria's character. We get some hints that she's a little bit crazy. One, she straight up says, I'm crazy for you. And again, that line, I'm crazy, is great foreshadowing. She also says offhandedly, poor you. And when she says it, we can see in Tony's eyes like a flash, like he looks worried for like a split second. I don't even think he realized why he's worried right then. But of course, this is subconsciously telling him that Gloria is like his mother. That was her catchphrase, oh, poor you. So even though he doesn't realize it yet, we're getting hints about her character and where she's going to go. And all of this is just setting up basically that she's mentally unstable. We learn later in her therapy session that she tried to commit suicide after her last breakup. So we know that things are just not going to end well with Tony. But we'll explore that more in episodes coming up. This was the Telltale Moozadell, and thank you guys so much for watching.